Hello, this is Romanosky from the Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada, and here we are at the opening of the 2011 Calgary International Auto Show. This is the Vehicles and Violins night, where we have a bunch of performers from the CPO, and it's a charity event of $100 or so, $150 per person, and with that you get to go to an auto show where there's only a few hundred people instead of the teeming masses, and of course all the fancy cars are unlocked and there's wine and food, and it's a whole lot more civilized. And if you like cars but don't like the crowd, the Vehicles and Violins is sure the day to experience it. But I wanted to do this video just to showcase or show some of the cars that we have on display here. And I will start at this end of the display with the 2011 Aston Martin Rapide Lux. Okay, so this is the based on the same platform as the DB9 and the DBS. And it's a bonded, riveted and aluminum frame, and this structure, this aluminum monocoque, is variable for width and height, meaning that a small manufacturer, a boutique manufacturer like Aston Martin, can spin off a few different models and keep the development costs down, because it can cost up to $1 billion to develop a new platform for a car, and that's beyond the reach if you're only selling 2,000 or 3,000 cars. So anyway, this is the new Rapide Lux. It uses the 6-liter V12 engine, 470 horsepower. It's a rear transaxle car, a torque tube, cast alloy torque tube in the middle, and a carbon fiber drive shaft. Gorgeous car. It's compared to the Porsche Panamera and maybe the Maserati Quattroporte. It's meant though as a sports car. This car loses nothing compared to DB9 in terms of handling and performance. And in fact, the race drivers that I talked to who raced this in the 24 hours of the Nürburgring said it actually handles better than a DB9 because it has a stiffer rear end. They came up with a new aluminum subframe. And I think you can even see this here. And bear with me. Maybe not. Anyway, it's a much stiffer rear end, and they say it's a lot more planted, going into the very high-speed corners. So, gorgeous car, beautiful interior, and there's just nothing else like it. It really is a special car. Not meant as a limo. You need a certain amount of agility to get in the back. But once you're in there, somebody my size, 6 feet tall, can be very comfortable, even for long trips. I suppose that the opening isn't that wide, and so you want to have a certain amount of agility. Okay, so then on the opposite end of the Aston spectrum, we get to this bad boy here, and this started life as and still is, a 2010 Aston Martin Vantage Coupe, and we're showcasing a bunch of high-performance modifications and so on. So it's our version of a tuner car. We've lowered the springs, the RSC suspension components, and then the ADV 20-inch rims, front and rear, red calipers. We went shopping for carbon fiber, and basically anything that was carbon fiber that would fit on this car, we put on it. So you're looking at the wing covers here. We've got the Vantage collection, really aggressive, beautiful. Front hood, expensive piece, but it is beautiful. And then the carbon fiber front spoiler, and don't worry, we stock extras in case you run into a curve with this one. It's pretty low. We also got the carbon fiber side strakes, and this is a wrap actually, and it's real carbon fiber. It's like a 3M product. And so it's a cosmetic, but it does tie the car together. Anyway, you could use that in the interior too, probably, if you wanted to cover some of the alloy trim or what have you. And then in the rear, we've got the carbon fiber spoiler extension, the clear taillights, and then a beautiful carbon diffuser. So this car, all these pieces can be unbolted if you want, but it's designed just to showcase some of the parts that you could put on your Aston Martin to personalize it. Okay, so the DB9 Volante. So this is the shorter version of the Rapide. And this came out in 2005. It got a freshening for 2010. And I think most importantly, it got its the adaptive dampening from the DBS. And that's the variable valving of the shocks, which is a little bit softer when you want it to be soft, and a little bit harder when you want it to be hard. So still a really fresh shape, still a really beautiful car. On the road, it is really sensational looking. You know, it basically was the first car showing the new Aston Martin design language, sort of maybe a softer Vanquish S. So the DB9 comes in coupe and convertible, and you can get a manual 6-speed transmission for it, although it's rare, hardly any of those around. And this one is the touch shift, which is the ZF 6-speed automatic with the paddles on it. Over here we have our first V12 Vantage. So this is the recipe where you take the biggest, most powerful engine and you stick it in the lightest, smallest car. So it's a frantic car. It has far more power than it really needs. You have to watch the wheel spin, even in a straight line, even in the higher gears. It wears Pirelli Corsa tires, which are the R compound tires. So like a normal tire on these cars might have a tread wear of 200 or 300, and these are 60. So they're good for about a second and a half on a lap. But when it gets cold, they offer almost no grip at all. Surprisingly, though, excellent wet weather grip. You wouldn't think it, but they do. It sticks almost as hard as if it were dry. Although standing water isn't your friend, so you need to avoid that. Anyway, great car. Only in a manual transmission, and it's 0 to 60 in the low 4s, and top speed of over 300 kilometers an hour. And this is some of my friends here. I'm shooting a video. No problem. Nice to see you. And I'll show you some of the bits around this car. First of all, it gets carbon brakes from the DBS. And it gets a unique wheel, and these look the same as another Vantages, but they're actually wider front and rear, and they had to go into the wheel arches and in the rear trunk area to make room for them. We've got unique front spoiler and a unique rear diffuser, and you can see the aerodynamics there, where the air is channeled up in this area, and along with the exhaust actually, which helps to suck the rear end of the car down. Adding downforce at speed. At the front we have the completely different front bonnet with really aggressive carbon fiber louvers, and then fairly aggressive front chin spoiler. Of course, you know what's really exciting is the V12 under the hood, and it's pretty hard to believe that bonnet can hold an old school 6-liter V12 engine. So amazing car. It's like raw. You hear and feel everything, and you can see the DBS seats and the gear lever and the center console treatment from the DBS as well, and also the carbon fiber door impact beams. These are actually structural. Alcantara steering wheel and the Alcantara seat inserts. So a fantastic car, great track car, and it's you compare this to something like a Porsche GT3 even. So a really raw sort of driver's car, but not quite as stiff. It's still a car you can go for dinner with your girlfriend in, or take on a trip, and it won't beat the hell out of you. Awesome car. We're getting our first few factory orders in the next few months, and that is the spring of 2011. Our DBS. And so this is the flagship car. This is the James Bond model. This is a derivative, well, it was based on the DB9, or rather the DBR9, which was the car that Aston Martin campaigned in GT2 in the Le Mans 24-hour races in 2007 and 2008, and they won both times. A fantastic achievement. And so they took what they learned on the racetrack and applied it to the DB9 and came up with the DBS, which promptly became the James Bond car. And to most people's eyes, this is singularly the most beautiful car on the road right now. So it's taken side by side against the DB9. It is quite a bit more aggressive. All the body panels are new. In the DB9, most are aluminum. These are all carbon composite. The fenders are flared. The wheels are quite a bit wider. DBS wheels won't fit in a DB9. It has the carbon fiber front spoilers, the beautiful sculpted carbon fiber mirrors, and it has the carbon fiber brakes that we showed you in the V12 Vantage. Beautiful wheels and some more carbon fiber. Beautiful rear spoiler. The DBS also came out with the clear taillights, which now have been adopted on the rest of the cars. So that's our cross-section of the Aston Martin product line, and it is fitting with classical music in the background and a nice way to shoot these cars.